If you're a fan of the New York Knicks, you already know this season didn't just change the franchise, it changed the entire conversation around how winning is built in the NBA. And I need you to stick with me on this one, because what the Knicks just did is going to echo across the league, and honestly, it might leave 29 other fan bases feeling sick to their stomach. Drop a like right now if you think building a championship team should feel more organic than this. And yeah, I want to see your opinion in the comments too, because this one is going to divide people. Let's be real about something that most fans don't like to admit. For years, the NBA has been obsessed with potential. Young cores, draft picks, let them develop, give it time. That's the language every rebuilding team hides behind when they don't want to admit they're losing. But New York didn't play that game forever. At some point, the front office decided that patience is only valuable if it leads somewhere, and if it doesn't lead to wins, it's just another excuse. Now pause for a second and think about that, because the Knicks basically looked at a traditional rebuild and said, no thanks, we're not waiting a decade to maybe be good. And before you comment, easy to say after winning, just hear me out. This roster didn't come together by accident. It was built through uncomfortable decisions. Decisions that most fan bases would absolutely revolt over. Let's talk about the part that hurts the most. Players like Emmanuel Quickley and R.J. Barrett weren't just random pieces. They were hope. They were the future. They were the guys fans bought jerseys for, defended online, argued about at work, and then they were gone. Sent out in a deal that brought in OG Anunoby, a player who didn't just fit the system, he reshaped it. Now I want every Knicks fan listening right now to be honest with themselves. When that trade happened, did you love it immediately, or did it feel like another gut punch in a long history of gut punches? Go to the comments. I want the truth, because here's the uncomfortable reality. Championship teams are often built on the back of decisions that feel wrong in the moment, and it didn't stop there. The Knicks kept making moves that would have had other franchises trending on social media for weeks. They moved on from young names like Obi Toppin, reshaped their depth, shuffle rotation pieces like assets instead of emotional attachments, and slowly constructed a roster that actually made sense in high-pressure basketball. And yeah, let's talk about that pressure. Because in New York, pressure isn't just part of the job. It's the job. Every possession is judged. Every rotation is debated. Every playoff series feels like it has historical weight attached to it. So when people say, just be patient with young players, it hits differently here, because patience in New York doesn't always come with guarantees. Now here's where things get controversial. Some fans around the league are watching the Knicks and thinking, so this is the blueprint? Just trade your young core and stack proven players. And I need to be very clear about this. No, this isn't a simple formula. This is not a video game where you hit trade override and win a title. What the Knicks did was calculated risk-taking over multiple seasons. It's not just about moving players. It's about timing, evaluation, and being brutally honest about who fits a winning structure. Let's not forget players like Mikal Bridges, who came in and immediately changed the defensive identity of this team. These aren't random acquisitions. These are targeted decisions with a very specific vision. Now I'm going to say something that might upset a few people. Drop a like if you agree before I say it. Here it is. A lot of teams are stuck not because they lack talent, but because they're emotionally attached to the wrong talent. And the Knicks just proved that emotional attachment doesn't win playoff games. It wins Twitter debates. It wins future potential discussions. It sells hope, but it doesn't win championships. And I know some of you are already typing, but what about loyalty? Let me respond to that directly. Loyalty is great until it becomes an excuse for staying average. Now, I'm not saying every young player should be traded. That would be ridiculous. What I'm saying is this. The Knicks showed a willingness to ask the hardest question in sports management. Is this player part championship team, or part of the story we tell ourselves while we keep losing? That question is brutal, and most organizations avoid it for years. The result? Stagnation. So when you see a team like New York finally break through, don't just look at the highlights. Look at the decisions behind it, because every big win has a trail of uncomfortable exits behind it. And here's the part that really hits fans emotionally. Some of those exits felt personal. Fans believed in Quickley. They believed in Barrett. They believed in Toppin. They believed in the idea that homegrown development would eventually become a storybook ending. Instead, the ending looks different, more efficient, more ruthless, and, if you're a Knicks fan, more successful. Now I want to bring this directly to you watching right now. Do you think your team would have the courage to make those same moves? Or would your front office hesitate because of fan backlash? Comment that below. I actually want to read them, because the truth is, the NBA might be entering a new era. An era where potential doesn't carry as much weight as production. And if that's true, the Knicks didn't just win a title. They changed the temperature of the entire league. Before we wrap this up, I need to say this as clearly as possible. If you're a Knicks fan, you don't have to apologize for enjoying this. You suffered through enough seasons of uncertainty. Enough nights where progress felt fake. Enough years where hope was just another word for disappointment. Now you're on the other side of it. But don't get comfortable, because sustaining this kind of success is even harder than building it. All right, I want one last thing from you. If you made it this far, drop a like so more Knicks fans see this. Subscribe if you want more raw breakdowns like this, because we don't sugarcoat anything here on Knicks News. And most importantly, comment this. Do you think the Knicks are a one-time success story or the beginning of a new NBA philosophy? I'll be reading every single one.